This is Gordon. Got to do a video today on changing a muffler on this truck of mine, this FLD 120. There's the muffler here, and if I can zoom in a little bit where it's rotted out, it's right there. That's all separated elbow from the bottom of the muffler. So obviously can't get at it without taking the headache rack off. I think I'm ready to move this thing out of my way now to get to that muffler. I left this clamp, this one back here, I left that one on. I guess we can see it on the video. It's loose, but I left it on. I'm going to slide this thing back, well, as far as I can get away with it, and then I'm going to pivot it. I'm going to twist it like, I'm going to twist it out of my way. I was supposed to do this job about 3 days ago and I didn't do it because of my back. That's as far as I'm going to be able to go forward. See if I can twist this thing without it falling. Shouldn't fall with that one clamp up there. Boy, that looks... Yeah, this is where the muffler's bad, right in there. It's separated from that. I think I showed that earlier. Just gotta... I might be able to get away with leaving this clamp on. Well, it's not in the best shape, but... No, I gotta buy an elbow. See, I wasn't able to see this before I got this thing off of here. So I'm going to have to take it off back here and change the elbow because I got a hole going right through it, right here. Yeah, that's not going to get any better trying to put a new muffler on it. Getting ready to get this stuff off of here. I'm going to spray some penetrating oil on this clamp here on the inlet end of this elbow, on those threads of that bolt. These bolts here, we'll just burn those off, and the same up there on top. We'll burn all that off of there. Got to wait for a friend to get over here to hand the muffler down to when I take it off, because I'm kind of down in the back this week. There's the oil sprayed on that for now. Let that soak for a little bit. We'll stick an impact on there. I can reach underneath here with that and straight up under there and get those off of there. I won't be able to hold the camera on this while I'm burning these off, so I'll just try to point where I'm going to do it at. I'm going to try to burn them off right here. And the same with the clamp up above it. And then the same thing on this side. And the clamp up on top too. This one here, I'm not going to bother taking that off because that'll just come off with the elbow since the elbow has to go. But I am going to be careful taking it apart over here. I'm going to try to save that flex pipe that's up in front there. Yeah, it's focusing in so you can see that's a flex pipe up there. I'll try to save that. I will save it unless it's damaged. That's why I put those on there last time at that angle, so I can get at them from underneath here the easiest without having to crawl underneath the truck or try to get the impact up on top of it. Here I got my wrench right here. I can get those off right there. So. Well, I don't know if it's necessary or not, but I do it because it makes me feel better. I'm going to spray penetrating oil on this all the way around. And I'm going to beat on this lightly with a hammer all the way around to break it loose and shake it loose, so that when I try to get this elbow out, hopefully it'll come out without doing any damage to this thing here. This is stainless. It is kind of a carbon stainless. It'll cut with a torch, but not as good as regular carbon steel. But I don't want to cut it. I don't want to change it. That's an expensive piece of pipe, and it's not even very long. It's just a little short piece, and I forgot what it cost, but it's pricey. I want to save that. So yeah, I'm gonna put some oil on it and then tap on it with a hammer all the way around. I can't do it with the camera on there because there's just no room to get in there and do it like that. I'm going to try to do this with the camera on. There, now this thing is ready to come off. I already pulled it out and stuffed it back in there so I could just do it like this. Yep, that elbow's in bad shape. The hole right there, the whole backside that I couldn't see was all gone. They don't last very long. I don't know what's wrong with Freightliner. Doesn't make very good replacement parts for the exhaust. I'm back out here again the next day. Normally this would only take couple of hours to do this job, but I have to stretch it out slowly because my back's messed up this week. Anyway, we got this elbow out of there, or maybe we had that at the last part of the video that I recorded. We got the muffler off and clamps off the top of it up there too. I had to go get a new elbow this morning. Here's that, and I'm going to get this tailpipe or stack out of the muffler. I'll put the camera back on the tripod. I'm just showing. I'm going to tap on this thing here, shake it loose a little bit, and then we'll burn a couple of slits. We'll continue these slits right here that are natural. We'll just continue those on down and loosen that up some and get that out of there. Tapping this with a wrench to rust loose. What I'm going to do is preheat the outside, the part of the metal that I want to cut, but then the pipe that's on the inside is not going to get cut. If you do it like this, don't hammer the screwdriver in too far. You'll wind up denting and messing up the shape of this pipe that we're going to reuse. Make it harder to get it in the new muffler. do that carefully, lightly. All the way around. I'm sure there's a lot of wind noise on the camera today. I apologize for that. I didn't know it was going to be windy. That's not coming loose for me, so I'm going to go on ahead and trim some of these off going this way, going around. Took two of those tabs off on the side and it started rocking on me, so I know it's ready to come off. There's the flex pipe underneath the cab that I'm going to clean out a little bit. To clean that up, I'm going to use WD-40, wire brush, and an air hose inside the pipe. A little bit on the outside, don't really need it there, but a band clamp, a flexible band clamp goes on that when you compress it, it squeezes and changes its shape to fit the two pipes together and to lock them almost airtight. So that does need to be cleaned up on the outside as well. Hold your breath when you're doing that. You shouldn't breathe that smoke. Hold my breath again. Didn't get much out of it that time. I don't know that I really need any WD-40 for cleaning it. I can see the shiny stainless steel plating on that flex pipe. So here's the new one that has to go on there. I can put a clamp together and put it on there first so I don't have to wrap it around this thing, take it completely apart, wrap it around and assemble it. So I'm going to go get a clamp and do that. Comes out of the box already assembled, and can't really see this thing on the monitor, but I'm going to try. Okay, I can see that. This side's bigger than this side, so you want to make sure your big side goes on the side that's going to have the pipe on the outside, and the pipe that goes inside surely is going to be on the smaller side. So, and then you want to make sure you get the bolts at an angle that are easy to get at them for tightening and taking it back off. So I think it's easier if I slide it onto the pipe first, the smaller side onto this pipe. I might be wrong, but I'm going to slide it on there first. And I'm going to position this pipe. Let me get this thing back out a little bit. I'm going to position this pipe close to where it's going to be when it's on there. And another thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to memorize. Right here I got 3 inches of pipe showing. When I'm looking at it from underneath where I'm going to tighten these down, these bolts down, I see where my 3 inches are, as long as this doesn't walk away, because it's kind of going around the corner there. It's kind of wedged in that position. Then I'll know how far in I am into that flex pipe. I want to go at least an inch, inch and a half into it if I can try to do that. I'm going to try to get in there that far. I can't go in real far because it's not going to line up with the where it goes on right here onto the muffler. This one's not as long as the one I took off. We got about an inch and a quarter sticking out up here, so we're probably in there an inch and a half or so, and that should be more than enough. We'll just put it back about to here. As long as the clamp is on tight and as long as the muffler is clamped to that post over there good and tight, then we'll be okay. But I can't put it in very far because look at this. The muffler, or this elbow pipe, being in there an inch and a quarter, give or take, is about an inch back from where I want. I'd like it to be in the center of this, but this is the center of the pipe, which would put me here, and I would like it to be about an inch farther back so that it's centered with this. So I got a little sloppy with the torch, didn't I? So anyway, we'll just leave things loose. We'll snug things down just a little bit to get the clamps in place, but we're not going to tighten anything down. We're going to wrestle all of this around and get it in the best position. We'll have to compromise here and there, but I'm not going to clamp anything down tight until everything is in place, so I can rock it around a little bit, slide it around a little bit, and get everything to the best place it can be, since this new elbow is probably an inch or two shorter than it should be in order to put it in right. I'm rubbing my fingers around the edge of this all the way around to see if there's any burrs from it being dropped or hit by other parts when it was in shipping, and I don't feel anything. You need to look for that, and if it looks like it's out around or anything like that, you need to deal with that before you try to put the muffler on, because, and also I'm going to run my hand inside the muffler where it goes on over this, because I don't want to wrestle with that weight and have this thing not want to go on there because there's a burr that needs to be filed off, or maybe it got bent a little bit and it needs to be tapped with a hammer to adjust it back into shape. I'm going to take one of these U-clamps, put it on here, hold this clamp or hold this pipe onto this, get that in place so that we can't set all that muffler weight on top of this without that being tightened down there. Even if it was, you still don't want to put that much weight on this while we're trying to get that in there. So I'm going to go over here to the old one to get an idea of just where we were on this one. This is, turn this over like that, and this is the way it was on the truck from my point of view working over there. So the bottom U-clamp was below the band clamp. Well, then the top one was above it, so it looks like we got about half an inch or so below it. And without getting the ruler out here, I'm going to say 4.5 inches from where that clamp was to where this one is, which is just under where it broke off, where the muffler broke off of the pipe there. So 4.5 inches. I'm going to have this thing sitting up about that high so that my band clamp will have room to be situated good in there. And we'll put this lower U-clamp on first, and that'll hold me in place. Yeah, the pipe's still, it's too short to just pull it out, put it on dead center and still have enough of it in there, so we have to improvise and kind of cheat a little bit. So I'm kind of doing it at a little bit of an angle, and after we tighten this clamp down over here, then I'll tighten these. which is going to pull this whole post over slightly, and it's going to pull and stretch on the pipe up there, but I don't have any choice. This pipe here is an inch or two short, so we got to do what we got to do. But I want it facing straight up and down when it goes in there, so I'm going to twist that back a little bit. Yeah, that looks like it's straight up and down now. Okay, I'll go on ahead and start putting some more of that together. I want that a little higher. I want 4.5 inches, didn't I? Tape measure on it, but I don't know. Doesn't have to be exactly. I'm just guessing. I'll measure it here in a minute. I got 4 inches. That's good. I don't know if there's any set rule, but I tighten this thing down myself until I start seeing the shape of what's going on behind it start to show through this stainless steel band. And I see that happening here. I see these little ridges starting to show through, and so I stop there, and when I'm all done I'll check it for leaks, because you don't really want any leaks underneath the cab. If you're going to sit and idle, then that smoke can accumulate and get inside. So I'll check it for leaks, and if it needs to be tightened up again I can. But see, that's why I pointed these bolts at the easiest place for me to get at them. And in this case it's out here. I don't have to crawl underneath the truck to do it. So now we got that on there pretty tight. Now I'm going to tighten this clamp down, and then we'll set the muffler up there on top of that elbow. Got this U-clamp tightened down. Got the band clamp on with the side that the big side is up, because that side the muffler goes over to outside of the elbow, and so I'm going to leave these in a position that's easy for me to get to, which would be right about here. Be fine. And we still got room to get our U-bolt clamp on there, which we can assemble hopefully with the muffler on. I'm hoping I can get this in there. Maybe I need to put that on first. I don't know. I think what I may wind up having to do is loosen this one up after the muffler is on. I may have to loosen this one up and pull it back out. But I need it on there now to hold the weight of the muffler while I'm putting this together. And then I can also clamp the top of the muffler onto this post once it's in place down here. But I think I'm going to have to loosen this clamp back up, pull it away from there in order to get the top one on. Here's the new muffler that says inlet end right here. Guess we can see that. Trying to see it on the thing here. I can't see it on there, but I'm sure you can see it. And if nothing else, this side here is going to hold water if you put it on like that, and this side won't. This side's facing up. Water will just roll right off of that. So if you can't find where it says inlet end, well then maybe you can just go by that little trick. That was my fault that this pipe is out around, because I put this clamp on too tight. I was trying to pull the thing over and get it in place as best as I could since it's too short, and I tightened it up too much and it just kind of squeezed it down this direction, so it's wider going this way. I gotta loosen it up and fix that. Here we are on top. I'm looking at about, maybe at best, 3/8 clearance between this little box that these clamps go and the top of this muffler. And I'm going to try to get that. I'm going to raise it up, but I don't want to touch it. I just want to stay maybe no more than 1/8 of an inch below it, because I think this is short right here from being able to clamp. There's 2 of these clamps that go on there. I got one on now loosely, the other one goes on, and I'd like to have both of them because that's all that holds that stack. That goes up about 4 feet, 5 feet maybe. So I'm going to try to raise this thing up and just miss touching this. I don't want it touching it because it vibrations and stuff wind up getting a hole in it. So that's what I'm up against next. I have to loosen up that bottom clamp down there and push this thing up a little higher. I got a stick under there, that wooden stick underneath the elbow there. It goes back there and it's sitting on top of the frame, and I'm using that as a pry bar. I just step on that when I'm standing up there. I can't do the camera up there. One reason, the battery's dead on the camera and I got to keep it down here where it's plugged in. And the other reason is I need 2 hands up on top to do this. I still can't get a GoPro camera yet to wear on my head, but I'm still hoping to get that someday. $500 today just to replace the muffler and 3 batteries on the truck. So it's expensive fixing these things. I can imagine what it costs at a shop. That's why I'm doing these videos, so people know how to do it at home. I got it done. Thing I don't like about it is that this piece coming off the muffler to put the pipe in is shorter than it should be, and I can't clamp the muffler clamp onto it good. I had to loosen it back up and then hammer this down at an angle to just barely grip the edge of that just a little bit. And it's on there tight. It's not moving when I hit it, but I just don't like that. That's just, they're doing that more and more on stuff now, making things cheaper and making it harder to work with. But there it is. Got the muffler back on there, and now I got to cut out a piece of angle iron to put on this box here that I straightened out. This aluminum box on this thing here. We're going to try to wrap a piece of angle iron around this and bolt it on there. I don't know if I can get to that today or not. That's the end of my video for changing the muffler on the truck. Also, I did a video on repairing that box on the headache rack and changing the batteries on the truck.